Over the last few weeks, there's been a big debate going on my LinkedIn, which is, do you really need a portfolio as a designer to get a job? This was quite interesting because portfolios have always been highlighted as the holy grail of designers. You are as good as a portfolio. I personally have gone out there and said that so many times. And I also agree to that quite a bit. The other argument also, however, is very valid. Usually, and as a recruiter also I can validate, good designers are never scouting jobs, they're usually getting hired already because they genuinely do good work. And it's not about the effort one has put to make a beautiful portfolio, but it's about the results you've achieved, which can be translated through even a conversation. I was actually very confused and I didn't know what side to take in this whole debate because I think both the parties make a very, very strong argument, right? On one side, I definitely agree that a portfolio is very crucial. Personally, I think it's a weapon designers have. A portfolio does a beautiful job of validating your skill sets very quickly. A portfolio makes it very easy for even people who necessarily don't have good grades, good degrees, etc., to showcase themselves in the best light. If you are in the finance background, in the health background, in the engineering background, barring coding, it is difficult for you to really do this. And that's the advantage designers and the creative industry has. Your work is visual and people can actually see it and understand your skill sets. So I think that's a super advantage which designers have. At the same point in time, a portfolio doesn't give a good representation of a creative person, a designer. There's a lot to do beyond just your skill set and your work. Like any other team member in a company from any department, you need to be great at understanding briefs. You need to have a problem solving mentality. And you need to also be passionate, dedicated, collaborative, empathetic, and so on. And these things are very difficult to portray in a portfolio. So this is what I feel. What I did is I tried to compare it to how startups raise funding. It's one entity trying to sell themselves to the other entity. And as a founder of a startup, I can also relate to this. And I thought it'll be a good idea for me to put these scenarios. And I honestly feel I got my answer. Now there are various startups at various stages. Let's, for the sake of this debate, let's say there are two kinds, right? There is one kind who makes a pitch deck and makes it really well and sells themselves in the best light possible to potential investors. Now there are also companies who do fantastic. They are in the right place, doing the right thing and just having great numbers. And very often investors actually approach these companies saying, hey, I want to put in money. You guys are up to something fabulous. I think this is quite comparable. If you are a creative person and you think you need a portfolio to either get more options, get a job faster, or maybe you're someone honestly who has very less experience in the industry and nobody can really endorse you, a portfolio is a great way for you to get started. At the same point in time, if you're someone who's already seasoned, who's in the industry, a portfolio is not going to be extremely necessary. And this is for the recruiters to know, to come back to my example, investors don't always want a specific format. There are, of course, frameworks which, of course, even you must follow as a designer while pitching yourself. But you don't need to have a strict documentation. A lot of recruiters expect, hey, I want like 3-4 web projects, 3-4 app projects, 4-5 dashboards. Otherwise, don't send that portfolio to me. That's not the right way to look at it, right? If you want, let them send something to you, but it can be anything. It could be maybe just 5 lines with one image and what problem they solved, what metrics they achieved. Keep it open-ended. It's okay even if they send it across over an email. There is no problem with that. So this is how I'd like to conclude. I completely agree with people saying that you don't need a portfolio to hire a designer because designers are doing really demanding jobs. They have deadlines to follow and making a portfolio takes a lot of time. So if you're a recruiter out there saying, I don't want to talk to a designer because they don't have a portfolio, you should change that attitude. Trust me, you will find some fantastic driven people. However, my personal opinion is a portfolio is very valuable. I personally know so many people who keep updated folios and just because of that, They talk to so many potential companies, so many people reach out to them. They're able to get 10 offers every time they're looking for a job. They're able to get 50 project inquiries every month, which helps them negotiate better. So there are definite advantages, but yes, a lot of time has to be spent in doing that well, which may not be necessary, especially if you are in a very demanding full-time job, especially in a circumstance where your time is required to push something urgently. But try and squeeze out some hours every weekend, and in a month or two, you'll have something very, very valuable ready. So that's what I have to say about this topic. I'd love to know what you guys think. Thank you so much.